going to read you a couple of quotes here that I got off of Sean Bedlam's latest video. It was about the soldier that threw the puppy. And so, Kurtulin 3, he writes, maybe we should assume that American soldiers do evil things all the time, like throwing baby dogs or killing people or dropping cluster bombs until proven otherwise. Actually, we don't need to assume it. We can know it. The wars that the United States start are mostly immoral and illegitimate, and we know that they kill people and throw cluster bombs and puppies. No respect for American soldiers. That one bothers me a little bit. The one by Graytex, doesn't bother me as much, but I saw the puppy incident in another video where they were throwing stones at dying dogs and threw an explosive device into a herd of sheep on their way past. In the related column of that video was another one where the soldier talked about whoring out a 15-year-old Iraqi prisoner he collected 10 sales before she hung herself. This war is 5 years old this month. How much more has gone on? Okay, let me address the Kurtulin 3. And I like this guy. I did. I used to sub to him. What bothers me about all of this is the painting with a broad brush. And I guess it's human nature to do this, but it does bother me because I'm one of the people, I have several German friends, and I love the German people. I'm one of these people who will stand up and defend when people bring up World War II and the Nazi regime and killing of millions and millions of people, not just Jews, and bombing out London through a blitzkrieg and invading other countries. I don't blame Kurtulin 3 for what happened back then. And I don't think all German soldiers were on board with what happened back then. In fact, not only do I not think it, I know not all German soldiers were bad. They were simply caught up in a time, and they were given a uniform and a gun, and they thought they were fighting for the right things. Sounds familiar. So this video of this puppy being thrown off, I don't know, I'm hearing now maybe fake, but even if it's real, like I said in my past video, so what, you want to shoot this guy? You want to kill this guy? I'm not for throwing puppies. It's just there's a lot more outrage I see towards this individual than I see on everyday events that happen around the world. I was upset when I saw the puppy get thrown off the cliff, but I was also upset with a million other things that happened that day. So yeah, it bothers me. Some of these comments, these blanket comments painted towards, and I guess it bothers me because I sort of have an insight on what goes on in a wartime situation. He brings up the point that American soldiers. Well, let me tell you something. In Afghanistan, we had German soldiers, we had Canadian soldiers, British soldiers, we had Scandinavian soldiers. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think if it was Denmark. Maybe Denmark. Maybe we had Denmark. Can't remember. But we had several different Spanish, several different soldiers there. Now, people are going to say, well, yeah, but it was the United States who forced, it's always the United States that forces these countries into these wars. And now we're seeing that's not exactly true, because there are several countries like France and Germany who did not participate in the fiasco going on over there in Iraq now. And, you know, it looks pretty good idea that they didn't. So yeah, this sort of bothers me. This broad brushing, this I have no respect for the American soldier. But there are plenty of soldiers that are respectful people. And not only that, let me tell you something. And I know Emendum has this thing about, you know, the Vietnam soldiers were drafted, which he's totally right on that, and these people over there have volunteered. Correct. But has anybody ever looked at the situation around the world? Has anybody ever, you know, people that join the military normally don't want to work at McDonald's for the rest of their life and can't afford to go to college, didn't get a private education. So they're saying, what are my options? Well, if I join the military, I can get college money. Or I can get a trade. And I can have a better life one day. It's the poor people. And yet people are venting their anger at these people that are in the military instead of venting their anger at the people who run the world, the people who make the decisions. No, they're going to spit on the guys that are over there and who really don't want to be over there, who want to come home. They want to see their kids. They want to see their family. And yeah, you know, you see them on camera and they say, you know, we want to finish the job. Maybe there are few that do want to stay there. I highly doubt it. As far as the gray text thing, I didn't see these videos. I'm sure I could find them on the internet. You know, I don't want to comment on it too much. It's hard for me to believe stuff that I read, or that, you know, even if it is a video of some guy saying he did this, it's hard for me to believe that he actually did this unless he's been arrested and he's being prosecuted by the military or by whomever. Because there's, again, a lot of young kids that say stupid things because they think it's going to make them look cool amongst their peers. Doesn't mean it necessarily happened. So, yeah. And I just thought of something else, so I'm going to add on to this video. A lot of the people who tend to criticize not just American soldiers, but, you know, anybody that they assume is the bad guy soldier or the aggressor. Yeah, you know, just soldiers in general. A lot of people who criticize soldiers when they should actually be criticizing the people who make the decisions to put those soldiers there have never ever put on a uniform unless they were going to their 9-to-5 job. Have never put on a military uniform. Your perspective changes a little bit with your experience. If you wear whatever country that you live in, if you wear that uniform, you realize that you're not necessarily doing things for the reasons that you're there. You realize that you're trying to survive. You realize that you're going to do the best you can with the situation. I don't know, it's just really easy to sit back and want to hate somebody because they wear a uniform that the person doesn't agree politically with what's going on. Yeah, you know, to bring it back around to the guy with the puppy. It was disgusting, but does he deserve to die, or does he deserve to be blown up for that? Teenage kid makes a mistake, or has lack of judgment, and people, A, want to hurt him, physically hurt him, and B, want to broad brush everybody who's over there. It just bothers me because most of the people who throw these firebombs have never done anything, have never protected anything but themselves. Never had to put on a uniform, or never felt that maybe you wouldn't have to go to war and maybe you could get a career or possibly even go to college. I think that this country should follow suit with the Germans and other countries that make it mandatory for everyone to serve. Because I think everybody should have to go through that experience. And then maybe their fire throwing would be less narrow-minded.